is up, everybody? Welcome to The Feast, the show where you submit replays and we cast them. I'm Delthius. How's it going, everybody? Good to see y'all. So, I do want to make a couple announcements. Let me see here. So I updated my the events section underneath my stream. You can check that out right underneath the stream you're watching right now under Tooth and Tail events. Orman made a really cool video kind of analyzing some of the statistics and picks and stuff of the Pedro's Time Zone Showdown. So there's a link to that, man. If you're into math at all and like checking out graphs and stuff, it was a pretty interesting watch, man. I'm kind of a math nerd myself, so I got a kick out of it. So check that out, man. The YouTube link is right there. And then also, I'm sure everybody here is aware, but Tooth and Tail League Season 2 is going on. Actually, NA Qualifier number 3 is going on right now, and I thought it was going to be longer. I should have played in it, man. I didn't realize all the rounds were best of 1. So it's probably wrapping up here soon, and maybe I might try to sneak in a couple of those tournament matches into the stream tonight if I can. I got a pretty loaded show as it is already, guys. Thank you so much, everyone, for submitting. I had a ton of great submissions, even between like just now and the last show on Tuesday, you know, so we got a stack show tonight. Super excited for that, man. And also, Jet Erickson's Tooth and Tail PvP campaign is being organized right now. I'm not so sure. I think the date's official, but I need to double check with Jet. But there's also links to that in the Tooth and Tail events section underneath this stream, to the Google Doc and Discord as well. So check that out. That's going to be pretty cool, man. I'm really excited. There's a lot of cool stuff going on in the scene right now between the league, which is kind of ongoing, so that's really awesome, and Jet Erickson's PvP campaign, which is going to be a little bit of a different tournament than I think we've ever seen in Tooth and Tail, so I'm really excited. Lots of custom maps, a little bit of the lore getting thrown in there, and some story type of stuff, so it's going to be great, man. I'm excited. Thank you for the raid, Miss Clicker. Everybody coming in, saying my band is metal. Hey, Cat's out of the bagel, man. I do. I have mentioned a lot. I play in rock bands, so that. Don't worry, Premium Bo. They're talking about my band, man. It's no big deal. Okay, guys. I think without any further ado, let's hop into match number 1 here. We're gonna start off rather where we left on Tuesday. I didn't quite get to everything because it was getting pretty late and I kind of got a sore throat from casting, but so yeah, we had these 2 left here, so we'll start there and take it from there, man. So let's get into it. Okay, spawning in the bottom, we've got Z-Ghost and his opponent up top, Amistria. I need to check out where the qualifiers are right now. I think it's kind of cool if you're following it on challenge and you're logged in, you can vote for who you think's gonna win. It might be over already though. I need to check the chat. I'm sure you guys are talking about it, but so far nothing crazy this game. Both players probably just gonna go up to 8 farm opening. Maybe we'll see a 6 or 7 farm Warren, but overall I think the map is looking pretty good here for Z-Ghost. He's got this nice pocket expansion in the back, and Amistria is kind of in a hard place up here. I mean, she can expand down, you know, it's a little bit southwest of her on this low ground here, but there's a little bit of a runaround. But yeah, actually, you know what? I think that base is fine. Yeah, I think that's an okay second base, and plus this campfire should be pretty easy for her to get. But both players running balloons here, which is cool to see. Balloons are used, you know, to develop a contain and also to punish an opponent who's trying to rush up to a tier 3 really quickly. But some moles coming out for Z-Ghost. And let's see if Amistria, it's actually just 1 bull, so maybe just trying to be annoying, but he did place down a Warren a little bit faster than Amistria did, so squirrels are coming here as well. Maybe he's going to reinforce with a couple more moles. We'll have to see. He's coming up. Amistria definitely knows what's going on now, but she doesn't have a turret or moles of her own to just kind of, you know, soft counter this and have a good answer. But it looks like she's going to defend this okay. That Warren doesn't quite go down, and that always feels bad when you're Z-Ghost in this position, man. You really committed a lot to get that takedown on that Warren, and it doesn't happen. So he's going to be a little bit behind, and great defense there from Amistria. Now she's got a little bit of an advantage in this game and is just going to go right into Skunks, and meanwhile Z-Ghost is going into Ferrets now. This is kind of a cool matchup. I like this, like Ferret versus Skunk situations. You know, the onus is really on the Ferret player to micro very well. Try to target fire down those skunks before they can really just start erasing their squirrels, right? Like the skunks in this kind of situation where you've just got a few squirrels, you know, 9 to 12, and then a tier 2, man, skunk is one of the best, I feel like. Maybe chameleon as well. Kind of bruiser units up front, you know. And nice little base here on the left for Amicia. Just probably wants to be a little safer. I mean, it looks like Zegos is setting up for a pretty big push here, right? I mean, he's taking the campfire. She's actually not aware of that, so she just took that campfire, that gristmill to the left, just being sneaky, but now she knows what's going on. Gonna push in here, and let's see, Zigo's kind of running away at first, trying to reinforce this with some turrets, but I think Amicia might be able to come in here and stop this, gets the campfire, but those turrets are gonna come up, so she's gonna have to pull back for now. And she doesn't have her own ferrets or anything like that, so, you know, a couple turrets like that, man, can be a really big deal. You need to get in there and take those out when they're unguarded from your opponent's army. And the ferret harassment comes in. Nice pickup on the Warren there for Zegos. But Amicia is going to push those ferrets back, but she can't chase too far because these turrets are kind of creating this nice zone. You always want this as a ferret player, man. You always want a nice fallback spot that's not too far away from the area that you're harassing. That way if things get just a little too dicey, you can pull the ferrets back a bit and be okay. Because, you know, in that direct engagement, the ferrets aren't going to be as powerful as something like a skunk. But here we go, man. Zegos trying to break this position. Amicia warped away to her other gristmill there to just throw down a few farms. I like that a lot. But gets back just in time to defend this. This is a lot of moles here from Zegos, man. So this is very, very expensive. You know, basically when a mole goes down, that's the equivalent of a tier 2 dying, right? So yeah, Amicia lost her skunks there. But she's got ferrets on the way now, which is going to help give her a little bit of siege against this engagement, but I feel like she doesn't even need them, man. I think she could push in here, target fire down that turret, and knock it out, but overall, this is a pretty neat game, man. If Zegos can secure this position, right, like, and really keep the pressure on Amicia, then he can easily take this, but, you know, Amicia kind of pulled the move that we saw the other day with Gentleman versus Amari, where Amari started that contain and Gentleman got out of there and placed the base elsewhere. And you see Amicia doing that here, and it's working great because Zegos is not really calculating in that other base, right? He doesn't know that exists. He thinks, okay, I've got Amicia contained. Yeah, I'm only on one base, but she's only on one base too. Plus, I've got the campfire, so really Zegos thinks that he's probably got the economic lead. Nice push in here from Zegos. He gets one skunk. The other skunk needs to go down. It does. And now I think Amicia is going to be okay with the reinforcement here. I like this, you know, like proxy warrens here for Zegos. Obviously, it helps with reinforcement time, but it might have just been as well Zegos didn't really want to leave the front line or needed to spend his money, you know, so it's just like, okay, go ahead and build this squirrel warren there. Now it's going to kind of, you know, come back and bite him here because several of those warrens going down to the ferrets of Amicia. And now she pulls back a little bit, but the reinforcement of squirrels here, it should be enough. You know, she's getting more squirrels out faster and more complete together, you know, than Zegos is here. And the ferrets go down for Zegos. Now this position is definitely compromised, man, and Zegos knows this and backs out. And he's got to be scratching his head, man. I think he did everything right here. But the big story is this base from Amicia over on the side, you know, just giving her enough money to finance just a slightly better army than Zegos could handle. And, oh, Zegos going in for the desperation mole attempt here. Hey, I think it's a good play. Why not? If you take the moles, you get this option in your deck, you know? And look at Amicia's commander on the minimap. She's down south. She now warps back to base, but her army's not quite here. But again, I really feel like Zegos thinks this is the only gristmill for Amicia. He probably thinks he's about to win the game with this. And he's going to be unpleasantly surprised here. And now everything's probably adding up for him, you know, over the course of the game. He's like, oh, that makes sense. She's got an expansion somewhere. So he's going to start hunting for that, but he lost so much in those moles, man. He literally has nothing left. And Amicia still has a nice mid-game army together and is going to go in for the kill here on Zegos. Zegos is where this tries to build a campfire in time. But I don't think it's going to happen here. Yeah, and Amicia takes it. Really cool game. All right. Let's keep this going. I need to check in. I might do a few replays, and then I want to check in and see the results of the qualifier matches, man. But let's get into it. Game number 2 here. Okay, spawning on the right, we've got the Gentleman. And his opponent to the left, Chip from space. Okay, both players running the boar here. And we'll see. I mean, I feel like Chip is going to go for that 5-farm Warren opening that he normally does. And, you know, I'm not so sure how Gentleman's going to react to that. I mean, Gentleman is a very well-known mind game player. Yeah, I was about to say I would expect the Gentleman to do something like go for a fast mole to harass. And look at this, Chip is changing it up because, again, he doesn't want to get pigeonholed as this guy who always opens the same way. And he scouts this mole out from the Gentleman. That's going to be great for him. Kind of deciding if he wanted to put down a turret or Warren, and goes for the Warren, sells off the farm. And this mole from the Gentleman is not going to do too much here, just besides mess with Chip's economy a little bit. And, you know, not allow him to go up to the 8-farm Warren. But, you know, Gentleman, I'm not so sure if he placed the mole after seeing the 6-farm. But, you know, if Chip went for the 5-farm Warren, man, that might have been pretty risky there. So, in the end, no harm, no foul. I mean, this has prompted a little bit of aggression from Chip, you know, going for an additional Warren. And Gentleman just, you know, ended that little push with the safe Warren. Now the Gentleman has seen that, cancels the last farm, and tries to get another Warren up in a mole to defend this from Chip. Now this can be very deadly. He's got this high ground here, and with good target fire, which you can definitely expect from a player like Chip, you know, having a few squirrels out over your opponent is an absolute big deal. But Chip decides to not take the chance and just go home and you know, make sure to not miss a beat on his macro there. He was floating a little bit of food, wanted to make sure he got that farm place in a reasonable amount of time, and, you know, just spends a little bit more of his money with a pretty aggressive squirrel Warren there. I mean, to me, that signals that he wants to keep some pressure on and go for a big push. But Gentleman gets the kill on Chip's commander, which is a big deal. And he's using this to plant some mines that Chip might not actually see in time. Yeah, Chip has no idea these mines are here. And now the Gentleman's going to abuse this high ground right outside the base. Oh, no, Chip actually did see a couple of the mines right at the end, but they still do their job and take out several squirrels there. Gentleman manages to get 3 farms, man. He got the building one and those 2 pigs that were already established. So this is already looking pretty good for the Gentleman here. This high ground around Chip's base is super brutal. And Gentleman can smell the blood in the water and knows he's got the advantage here. And he's going to move in with some moles. Chip sees the moles and tries to respond with the turret, you know, hoping that these Warrens will buy enough time and this gristmill tanking. Chip shouldn't actually lose the gristmill. No, he actually does. Oh, no, wait. I guess he sold it. That was crazy. That must have been at, like, the exact right time because it said plus 60 there. So, yeah, he sold it at, like, the last possible second he could. And Chip's going to counterattack here. He's taking this high ground gristmill to soak up damage if Gentleman wants to come up the ramp and heal his units, maybe even allow him to build a turret or 2. And the Gentleman knows he can't let Chip get established up here, and he's pouncing in for the attack. I think the Gentleman has enough. He's got some good target fire here, really not taking a whole lot of hits on the gristmill there. And gonna knock out one of these turrets, but this turret on the high ground, man, that is absolutely beautiful. Gets a ton of work done, and it's gonna stay alive for now. I don't know if it's gonna live long enough. Yeah, it looks like it's gonna live long enough for the reinforcements of Chip to come in, man. That turret right there, man, MVP of that fight for sure. That was insane. Okay, so Chip's got the re-rally here. He's gonna defend this territory as best he can, and the big story here, though, is that economic damage that the Gentleman got on Chip, man. He never rebuilt those farms, so the Gentleman's had a superior economy for a minute or 2 at this point, right? Yeah, and I'm a little bit worried there for Chip on that regard. So he needs to make something happen quickly, or at least he needs to get some counter damage in here. You know, he doesn't have any plans to actually expand. He's definitely not going to be building farms at this base. You know, this is purely for aggression here. He's just trying to find the right moment where he can maybe get a turret up on this ledge. You know, maybe sneak in and kill a farm when the Gentleman's just slightly out of position. And Chip is just reinforcing this more and more. The gentleman doesn't have ferrets to easily deal with these turrets, so this could be a pretty big deal. Now the gentleman's taking that second base. We're almost at the 5-minute mark here, so pretty low economies overall for sure. I mean, both these guys like to macro up when given the opportunity, but this game has just been super, super intense. And now the turret actually did get up, and that is going to do some pretty decent damage here to the gentleman's pigs. A couple of those ended up mining out anyways, but definitely a frustrating position for the gentleman to be in. And it looks like he's going to wrap around and just try to return the favor with some counter aggression here. And I was going to say, I'd love to see him just macro up on this farm, man. If he can just hold on. Nice. Chip takes out the gristmill. And most of this infrastructure over here is probably not long for this world either. I don't see any reason why Chip wouldn't be able to kill multiple Warrens. Probably even this one. Yeah, he's going to get all of these. So Gentleman's just going to sell, Warren and a half and try to set shop up back over here. And now Chip can actually saturate the space. Now he kind of owns this area. And I think we'll be seeing Chip sell off a couple of those turrets here momentarily, especially after he just got that scout off on the gentleman going real hardcore on those farms. I wonder if he keeps the last one. Yeah, nope, sells them all off. Okay, I agree with that. I think that's the right play. I think I would hesitate and maybe keep the last one, but I think it's correct to just sell them all at this point. Once you sense some aggression out of the gentleman, he's got a nice little pocket right here behind the Warrens. He can place a turret, so right when the push moves out, he can rebuild that, Okay, let's see. Might fast forward a little bit. We're almost at the 7-minute mark here. Chip trying to get aggressive turrets placed. That's going to definitely help reinforce this front line for him. I don't know if he can afford it, but I'd love to see a ferret, man. Maybe build another turret just like right there where he can, or he's got this territory on this side as well. He could set up a couple turrets up here and just start poking in with the ferrets. But Gentleman is not messing around, man. 4 moles are being built, and typically you don't build moles unless you plan on attacking with them immediately. So yeah, Gentleman's hoping to come in here and crush this position, and sure enough, Chip throws down the ferrets to start just kind of bringing the thunder down on the Gentleman and making this more and more difficult to deal with. But let's see. Gentleman's just building up a lot of moles at the moment, hasn't moved out yet, and this front is just getting more and more reinforced here for Chip. Turrets actually do a decent job against moles, especially if these squirrels can get out front and kind of tank some hits. So moles moving in now. 6 moles are out, a 7th on the way. No, actually a ton more. 8, 9. And here we go. Gentleman's found the angle that he wants, and he's moving in for an attack. And actually pushes through here phenomenally. Those turrets got dominated. I mean, Chip did retreat from there, left those turrets exposed, but it was definitely the right move from Chip. He realized he needed to fall all the way back here and try to defend from the pig line, because that was a very, very strong push there from the gentleman. He had quite a few squirrels compared to Chip, and all those moles up front to reinforce. But the ferrets here, and if Chip can just stabilize, this counter push is going to be monumental here, as these ferrets are just going to come in here and start poking at all these structures, and it's going to put the gentleman's defense on a clock. 1 Warren's already down. The gentleman can't just, hang out and not do something about this. All right, he's wanting to come in with some moles. A lot of Warren's already going down here, and the ferret attack is continuing. Looks like the gentleman was thinking about trying to find an angle again, but backs out for the moment. Nice, actually picks up a squirrel or two there with those ferret pokes, and another Warren maybe going down. No, the units come up and block that AI focus. This is a really good play to do if you're under ferret fire and you really don't think you have a good answer. Is just kind of run around with your units up front. You gotta really try hard not to lose anything. Even if you lose 1 or 2 squirrels, it's not the end of the world. Just kind of force those ferrets to target other things besides your structures here. But the gentleman's got another base though, and Chip is still on this 1 base economy, and actually, never rebuilt those pigs that he lost earlier. So these ferrets finding an angle, though, actually getting on the economy of the gentleman there. 1 pig goes down. Gentleman goes in and takes out a ferret. Nice pickup there. Man, this is insane. Okay. I mean, Gentleman's getting to the Falcons. That's really what he needs, man. If he can just hang on and buy time, you know, and eventually he's going to start, this extra income that he's got is really going to start kicking in. He's going to be able to finance more and more Falcons and eventually put together a more powerful army than what Chip can afford. And Chip goes for the boar. I was wondering if maybe he was going to, you know, go for that North Gristmill or something, but no, man, he's going to commit to the economy that he has and try to get up to that boar for a big push, and it makes perfect sense. You know, the Gentleman's really relying heavily on tier 1 at the moment. The boar is going to come in and absolutely wreck those units, so ooh, needs to be careful with this Falcon. Okay. Alright, Chip's just reinforcing here, buckling down even more. And if Chip can keep this up, he's basically locked the Gentleman into this region of the map. And you know, once he decides to, he's got quite a bit of money, but he was saving that for his tier 3. You know, I guess he just doesn't have another gristmill in the plan. You know, he's thinking once the boar is here, we're just gonna move all in and we're gonna take this out. So I like that commitment. You know, I feel like it's real easy, you know, to think, okay, I really need another gristmill here. But you know what? Okay, there you go. He's got a couple spots left for some starvation farms. But you know, he's really investing all of his money into this incoming attack. And as you can see, he's starting to sell off some turrets, starting to get a couple more units out here. You know, this is Chip's plan, and he's committing to it. Once this boar is out, he's going to go all in. And Gentleman's getting a boar as well, but Chip's will be out first, so if he really takes advantage of that timing window, that could be game. But, you know, but if he waits around too long and the Gentleman can get his own boar out, I mean, Chip's army is pretty primarily tier 1 as well. The boar is here for Chip, though. He should be moving out now. Yeah, the rest of the turrets are gone. Maybe he's trying to bait the Gentleman into chasing this ferret. I don't think he realizes that the Gentleman... Oh, now Gentleman's boar is out too, so here we go, the epic showdown in this game, boar versus boar. It looks like Gentleman's boar falls first, but Chip's falls shortly after, but Chip has got enough behind it. I don't know, Gentleman's still got the defender's advantage, and he's got the better economy at this point. And he sells off the boar warren. That's very important. You know, you're not going to be able to refinance that. Chip does the same. I thought Chip was just going to take it there, but, you know, Gentleman's got the defender's advantage, and he's starting to re-rally up. If he could take out this ferret or, you know, reduce the tier 1 line enough to where these Falcons just start dominating. I mean, 2 Falcons are out now. A couple more on the way. As long as these Falcons stay alive, but Chip trying to target fire them immediately. One is going to go down. And the second one does as well. Man, this is so close, but I think Chip just barely has enough. The Gentleman knows and taps out. What a sick game. That was insane. Good replay submission. Okay. Take a sip of my tasty beverage here. And we will hop into the next match, guys. Game number 3. Let's do it. All right, spawning in the 6 o'clock position, we've got Protocam. Hopefully I'm saying that right. And his opponent to the top right, Swifty. All right, Swifty, lots of tier 1 and Fox turret. Pretty interesting to see. And meanwhile, Protocam running a more even split. This is kind of the deck that is intended, quote unquote, you know, at least the split, not necessarily the unit selections that Protocam has here. You know, like 2 tier 1, 2 tier 2, a tier 3, and a defensive structure. If you're looking for something to start off in, you know, deck-wise, that's definitely the way to go. But Swifty is a pretty insane player, man. I played with him a lot fairly recently, and just some of the tier 3 rushes he gets away with. Like, I mean, I feel like the greediest you could do a tier 3 rush would be like 1 or 2 Warrens. You know, I've seen Swifty go for 8 farm tier 3 and make it real difficult to break, but there are windows, man. The best way to do it is Balloon. Now, both players here have a Fox, and this is a very large map, so I wouldn't be surprised to see either player here go for a fast tier 3. Other than that, Swifty, if he senses weakness, you know, Swifty can respond to a fast tier 3 or another sort of greedy early game play. Yeah, look at this, man. This is what I was talking about. Yeah, I love being right. It doesn't happen often, but when it does, yeah, like, don't try this at home, kids, man. Like, this is so ridiculous, and Protocam really needs to get this scout off. That's the thing. You might get away with it if your opponent doesn't scout it, but now Protocam sees it, so he needs to respond accordingly. He's got a couple options here. He can sell off his tier 1 Warren, and it looked like he was trying to set up for a greedy Fox himself, but he was doing it a bit more conservatively. You know, he built a tier 1, he built a turret, and then went for the tier 3. I feel like a nice, safe, but still like a greedy tier 3 opening is like 8 farm, 2 tier 1 Warren, and then tier 3, and then turret. You know, and kind of adjust according to what your opponent's doing. Sometimes you get away with that, but Protocam going for 2 Foxes, this is crazy. So Swifty scouts it out. Let's see if he sells one. He does. So now he's just messing with Swifty. This is a really interesting game, man. Okay, so Protocam has the Chameleons, which are going to do well against the Fox, but Falcons are indeed not. And I was thinking Protocam might have been trying to go for a double Fox play to be able to one-shot his opponent's Fox, right? The Fox, basically, if it gets hit by another Fox, it goes down to 1 HP. So all you need is one other little shot from a squirrel or anything else, and you can take it down. But obviously, if you have 2 Foxes get the hit, it'll kill it immediately. I mean, I'm a Fox player myself. I personally haven't experimented a whole lot with 2 Fox play. I feel like 1 Fox is pretty sufficient. But you need, like, Fox is kind of weird because it's a good unit. You know, it's really good in the early to mid game, even the beginning of the late game, but like super late game, you know, other tier 3 units are gonna outshine it, like a bunch of owls. You know, a bunch of Foxes I don't feel like scales as well as a bunch of owls. You know what I mean? So the Fox is out here for Swifty, and Swifty is just being like hyper greedy here. Not only did he go for a really fast tier 3 Warren, he also went for a really fast expansion. I mean, how can you blame him, man? This expansion's just begging to be taken. It's a pocket base and it's on high ground. And this is going to be a rough spot for Protocam to come into with his Fox. You know, Fox's worst enemies are high ground and defensive structures, and Swifty's got plenty of that over here defending his base. And you know, meanwhile, Protocam does have a nice little setup here of turrets to repel any Fox of his opponent, but he doesn't have that high ground. And it's also going to be a little more difficult for Protocam to get out on this map. I feel like he should try to really seize map control here and take these expansions. Yeah, sure enough, he's taking that one. I'd love to see him sell these turrets off in the back, maybe build, you know, I would build those turrets like right on the edge of my territory. But here we go, the Fox comes in, and oh man, that was so good. Protocam used a chameleon ambush, you know, in conjunction with his own Fox to take out Swifty's. Damn, man, I wish I was zoomed in on that. So Protocam had definitely planned that out. He'd moved his chameleons, what we call a chameleon trap or a chameleon ambush on the Fox. You know, essentially, you know, the Fox is going to come through this way, right? So you plant your chameleons here. So they you know, get her from the shadows and deal a lot of damage and maybe even take it out. So Protocam used that chameleon hit to get that extra damage on Swifty's Fox there and enabled his own Fox to take it out, you know, with just 1 strike. So really good play there from Protocam. That was very impressive. And now Swifty has committed to getting another Fox out, but he's going to follow that up with just a ton of lizards. Lizards are another really good answer to the Fox. They move at the same speed the Fox does, and oftentimes, you know, through angles, and you know, maybe you have to run through a little bit of water, stuff like that. Lizards will catch up, man, and get in a shot or two, and that adds up. And I've lost many a Fox to lizards chasing me. So just trying to struggle here for position, but man, all these lizards from Swifty. I don't know if Protocam can handle this. Swifty coming in. He needs a target fire down his opponent's Fox, but his own Fox gets target fired down immediately by Protocam in that engagement. And Swifty, Protocam's Fox still remains, but now the lizards get it. Both Foxes go down, and Swifty's got plenty left to come in here and attack. And I really, chuck this up to Swifty's superior economy at this point, man. He took that second base so quickly. Like, Swifty was as greedy as you could possibly be in a game of Tooth and Tail, I feel like, this match. Like, 8 farm tier 3 into, like, fully saturating a second base really fast. Like, that was insane. Protocam with the really cool Fox takeout. Great target fire in that second engagement as well, taking out that other Fox. But in the end, Swifty just had too much with that superior economy and takes the game. That was crazy. Yeah, sick plays, man. But in the end, I really feel like it came down to the Swifty's superior economy. Okay, let's hop into match number 7. All right, spawning down south, we've got Vincent and his opponent to the top, Bratmo. You know what? I've realized this. It probably took me longer than it should have, but I don't think these are ladder games, guys. It's always Vincent always submits Vincent versus Bratmo, man. And unless they just get on the ladder at the same time, I mean, they're still good games. They're still competitive. But it just like dawned on me this time. I think it's like the 7th time I've done a Vincent versus Bratmo and never noticed. I was like, hey, wait a minute. But I'm excited for this match, man. Vincent with a really interesting deck composition here, going for a lot of defense here with Owl and Snake. No tier 1 at all. I wonder if this is random. I don't think so. I think he's got a plan here. You know, maybe turrets and barbed wire to get you through the early game. Now, Vincent has a beautiful spawn for this crazy deck, man. Yeah, they're talking in the chat, man. Big prop. I always give big props, man, if you submit a loss. Like, I expect people to submit wins. You know, it's not a big deal. Don't feel bad. Submit your wins, man. It's super fun. But I love to see when people submit games they lose. Protocam submitted that last one. He was like, you know what? I lost this, but it was still an awesome game, and indeed it was. So, but yeah, this is a really good spot for Vincent for what he's trying to do. Save it up for an artillery cannon right off the bat, and this is gonna do a decent job defending all of these bases. I maybe would have liked to see it actually just like on the edge of this territory on this high ground, because I feel like maybe it would have defended these side bases a bit better there, but no big deal. I think that's a good spot. Yeah, he wants to put the barbed wire in front of it. That makes sense. And he's more concerned with defending this right side base because that's where he's going immediately. You know, by the time he's looking for a third base, he might be able to go ahead and take that expansion anyways and, you know, have other defense to guard it. Now, Bratmo did get the scout off, I believe, on the artillery cannon going down, so he knows what's going on here, man. He knows Vincent's looking to do something crazy, and this is always the best response. I feel like when you see your opponent investing into a lot of defense to macro up, the response to that is just to macro up yourself without investing into that defense, right? So that's going to put you in an advantage. You can get your farms up faster, get your units out faster, and get more of them. Granted, your opponent will have that defense, but, you know, this is a lot of money here Vincent has invested into this balloon and arty cannon and barbed wire setup that, you know, is really not netting any returns unless Bratmo strikes out. Now, he's kind of has to do this, you know? I'm not... with his crazy deck here, like, he doesn't have tier 1. He needs something in this early game to help him, but I always feel like if you're in Bratmo's shoes in this situation, you're in a pretty good spot, man, because you're macroing up too, and you didn't have to make all those investments. Now, Vincent took the campfire to the left, and there's a couple other campfires over here. I'm interested to see if the players will take those. I always highly recommend, especially to new players, man, like, if you play, dude, just take both of these campfires. Absolutely. Like, your opponent might not ever scout those, but you'd be surprised, especially in, like, the one base phase of the game. Having a campfire up on your opponent can win you the game for sure. You're just going to have that extra oomph to be able to reinforce your army faster after a big engagement, or maybe sneak out an extra warren or two. So definitely a good move to make, man. So owl number 1 is out here for Bratmo. I think owls are one of these units that you need this kind of critical mass of them. Now, one owl's not terrible. I don't want to come off on it like that or anything, but where the owl really shines, man, is when you get like 2, 3, or 4 of them, because you're just generating so many free units with those mice that you can oftentimes overwhelm your opponent. So this one owl that's out for Bratmo, as you can see, that's not really enough for him to trigger like moving out like you would when you get out a fox or a badger or a boar or even a wolf, you know. So Vincent's getting his own owls out, and Vincent's actually gaining the lead on the owl count, at least in Warrens. But Bratmo has been more greedy with his second base here. Look at this from Vincent, man. This is such a bold move. Like, I like it a lot. You know, Vincent could easily take this base as his third, but he's gonna leave it there for a free fourth base, right? Like, if Vincent can really draw the battle lines like this and split the map in this fashion that he's trying to at the moment, it's gonna put Bratmo in a real bad spot the longer this game goes on, because that means Bratmo's only other base on this map is this one right here, and Vincent gets everything else. Now, it would be hard for Bratmo to take this base anyways. Overall, I feel like, you know, any way you slice it, man, Vincent's definitely got a gristmill up on Bratmo here if it goes super late. But this is good, man, because this is like he's putting in the work of getting this gristmill now before it gets really, really crazy, right? When it's like 3 base, you know, late game, ton of owls out. It might be more difficult to take this area, and you know, this is going to be a breeze at any point. He's controlled this area all game long, right? So Bratmo realizes he needs to get his third base up and running. Go ahead and takes that, and should start, you know, maybe hopping up these turrets a little bit, trying to draw a battle line a little closer to Vincent. And we're gonna get into some crazy owl versus owl play here. Vincent going up to 4 owls, man. That's what I'm talking about. But that's really all Vincent has in his army. Bratmo's got 1 owl out. He's got another owl on the way. But he's got a good army here, man. 4 ferrets, and he's gonna go up to 6. Like, 6 ferrets is insane. Because like probability, right? Like 2 ferrets, you know, you can kind of micro your army around, and you know, sometimes they hit, sometimes they don't. But when you start getting up to 4 to 6 ferrets, man, it's just a matter of statistic or probability at that point, right? Like the ferrets will hit, you know, if all of them have a 13% chance or whatever, you know, based on the movement of the opponents. It's gonna get indeed a lot more deadly. So a lot of these units going down for free though. This owls from Vincent getting a lot of work done. I think a ferret or 2 died there, several squirrels. It's gonna push Bratmo back and not let him even think about trying to throw down some turrets or something of that nature here. And balloons are critical here, man, in an owl versus owl type match. And Bratmo unfortunately doesn't have them with him, but his owls are here. Yeah, because really the squirrels, oh, I guess the snakes too. But Bratmo does have a lot of squirrels. Like, imagine if Bratmo had balloons, though. It'd be rough for Vincent. He does have snakes, I guess. No falcons here either. I like seeing that, like, owl-falcon composition. It seems to make a lot of sense, you know. They synergize with the flying ability, obviously, and then, you know, all the mice tank up front. The falcons do a ton of damage in the back, but here we go, just a little bit of mouse harassment here. And the counter mice coming in from Bratmo, trying to save his base, but takes a little bit of economic damage, and that's a big deal when you get into these late game positions. We're at the 7-minute 30 mark, so this 4th base for Vincent hasn't really come into play just yet. But if this game goes super long, man, that 4th base might win him for him for sure. You know, Bratmo's got to recognize that and really make a lot of effort right here, right now, to prevent that 4th base from going down. You know, make sure to harass it pretty often, or even just try to win the game before that 4th base really comes into play. But these mice from Vincent, man, 4 owls. As you can see, man, the number of owls, it's almost like the power level increases exponentially or something, man. Like, Vincent just rolled over everything of Bratmo's there because he had 2 extra owls on him. And he's going straight up to 6, so if Vincent can take out this 3rd base for Bratmo, that's going to be absolutely huge. He already took out Bratmo's 2nd base, so this is the last bastion of mining here for Bratmo. He absolutely needs this base to stay alive. And it looks like the mice are just barely going to be able to take it out. And Bratmo is severely crippled at this point, man. I can't believe Vincent got away with this. Really cool deck from Vincent for sure, man. I love seeing stuff like this. Just kind of going outside the meta and figuring out, you know, crazy things that can work. Bratmo's gonna try, man, but he's starving. You know, he doesn't have enough money to take another Campfire or Gristmill. He's going to come in here, use the units he's got, have a little bit of fun, but I think at this point, Vincent's definitely got it, man. 5 owls on the board, a 6th one almost here. Now, Vincent's taking a little bit of risk, though, in my opinion. You know, oh, actually just knocks Pramo out. No, yeah, that makes sense, because he only had the last Gristmill. I was going to say, you don't really want to go into a base race, right, when you have the superior army. But Vincent was pretty damn sure at that point that was the last Gristmill and just went in and took it out. Oh man, did I, okay, no, yeah. I feel like I skipped a couple. Yeah, we must have skipped 4 and 5, right? We saw Protocam versus Swifty. Oh, you know what it is? I have that listed twice. I wonder if that's the same game. I might have made a mistake. You know what? I have a replay we can put in that spot. No, those are actually 2 different games. Okay. Yeah, no, I totally skipped games. What happened was I did Protocam versus Swifty here, and then I saw Swifty versus Protocam here, and then I just went to Vincent after that. So I skipped 4 and 5. So we'll get into game number 4 here. Okay, spawning in the top left, we've got Master Wario. And his opponent to the bottom, Insouciant. Whereas Meowkaiser cracked me up one time, Insouciant. I was like trying to figure out how to say it. I don't know, inside joke, man. It was pretty funny. But Master Wario looks like he's setting up for some moles here. Let's see if Insouciant's gonna sniff this out in time. So far, it doesn't. This is looking pretty good for Master Wario, man. Let's see. Yeah, Insouciant's not at home. If he was at home, he could sell this off. Oh, yeah, gets the crit. I can't tell, because it said crit plus 60 food. So I think maybe he sold that last one off. I'm not so sure. Because last time the Gristmill was like that, the gentleman said the Gristmill actually died. So I don't know. But he definitely got 1 farm there, maybe 2. So real successful pressure there for a Master Wario. I love that kind of stuff, man. Just any kind of aggression to really keep players on their toe and prevent them from just going straight up to 8 farms. The second farm was sold, the first one insta-died. Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. I just was confused because I saw the crit thing come up from the mole on it. Maybe you just sold it like just in time before the damage process. And Master Wario is not messing around, man. I think he actually, yeah, he faked out Insouciant here. Insouciant went into scout and everything looked normal. Master Wario sells everything off, builds a ton of moles here. And he's going to come in and just try to end this game right here, right now. Insouciant's just now finding out about it. It's got 1 squirrel, really got to keep it alive. Stays alive for now, that's huge. The Warren goes down though, the squirrel goes down, and now it's just a pig line to defend here. They should eventually, I don't know, that's a lot of moles. Yeah, they should eventually clean this up. But he's going to take a ton of damage. The moles are going down as well. And you got to look at Master Wario's economy. He's only on 5 farms. So if these other 2 moles, oh, they're going to sneak out. That's pretty big for Master Wario, man. He definitely needs that refund, but he's still going to wait. He's going to have to wait a very long time for these things to heal back up to full HP before he sells them off. So, I mean, Insouciant took some damage there, but Master Wario sacrificed a lot to be able to pull off that aggression. Yeah, I feel like they're in relatively even spots here. Maybe Master Wario will get his farms out a bit quicker than Insouciant does. As you can see, Insouciant's not rebuilding any of those 3 farms yet, and Master Wario's got farm number 8 queued up at the moment. There it goes. So yeah, Master Wario is going to have a little bit of an economic lead here. But Insouciant did decide to invest into a couple tier 1 Warrens before building more farms. So I think Insouciant's plan was to probably come in for some counter aggression if Master Wario was being too greedy. You know, oftentimes, you got to be careful, like, if you do go for an early rush strategy, you know, it can be really tempting to just build a whole bunch of, you know, like, go in and rush with 4 or 5 double, or, you know, maybe mole attack in particular, but you feel like you can come back and just build a bunch of eco You know, but your opponent can counterattack you and hurt him pretty hard. But look at this, man. I don't know how long this base has been up. I just noticed it. But Insouciant does have a little sneaky expansion over to the right there. And that's going to be great. I mean, Master Wario's only path to get over there is through Insouciant's, you know, main territory anyways. But Master Wario takes this campfire here. He's probably going to take this other one, I'd imagine. It has his own second base up as well. And so far, yeah, okay. So we're building up to basically the same army compositions here. It's going to come down to control and where they want to evolve the game from here. Now, Insouciant's running Artie Cannon Balloon. So maybe eventually he takes this gristmill, tries to set some of that up. But Master Wario's already getting a balloon up, and that's going to really solidify that position for him. And it's going to make this base right here really difficult for Insouciant to take. Insouciant realizes this, tries to come in, hopefully try to get the target fire down on that balloon, but the commander took a lot of HP, he had to run away, or a lot of damage rather, had to run away from the side. Manages to target fire down the squirrels though, and now just the balloon remains, and Tier 1 is pretty good against balloons and is able to take it out. And now pushing in on, with the aggression here, trying to get some damage done on the campfire, but gonna have to back out for now. Wait, you know, re-rally some forces and come in again. But overall, I definitely think that was a victory there for Insouciant, especially because Insouciant's on the better economy at this point. You know, keep in mind, Master Wario does have that campfire, so it's actually like a 9-farm economy, but we're almost at the 5-minute mark. You know, in 5 seconds, watch the farm count go down, guys. 3, 2, oh no, big engagement. 1, boom. But nice pickup there from Insouciant. Takes that campfire out. And Master Wario seemed like he really wanted to put up some balloons, but great, you know, not necessarily defense because the campfire died, but he ends up winning the fight. Now he's going to push in here with some aggression. You know, these Falcons still being alive for Master Wario is huge. Insouciant manages to target fire down them both, though, and that's going to be a big deal for this defense. He needs to keep his own Falcon alive. Target firing is going down for Master Wario. Good job there. Master Wario's commander dies, and with that, all these squirrels are going to die as well. Insouciant defense for the time being. Lost a lot of Warrens there, but I feel like the big story here is this base to the right. And Insouciant actually didn't lose a ton of farms right at the 5-minute mark. You know, just from having to rebuild stuff earlier on and kind of losing time on a couple of those. So, you know, these farms are still hanging out a little bit longer here for Insouciant. That was a good defense, man. A lot of really good target firing going down from both players this game. Wario has the second base, but he didn't really commit to it. You know, he just now throw down one farm on it because it's like, I invested in the gristmill, right? I should at least build a farm on it. And Insouciant's got to be happy with that scout, man. He just confirmed that Wario really doesn't have an economy left. And good decision making there from Wario to sell off his Falcon, by the way. It's always rough to do that kind of stuff, man, but I really feel like that's what differentiates, you know, high-level players, is just the ability to really understand what phase of their economy they're on, you know, and just you know, it sucks, man. It's always hard after a Fox dies to sell off that Warren and let it go, but most of the time that's the right move to make, man. Or in this case, Falcons, but you know what I'm saying. Commander, ooh, barely gets away. Commander deaths are a big deal, even though it doesn't necessarily affect your game. You don't lose anything within the game. When the commander dies, you just have to wait for the respawn, but no commander means no micro, man. And that could be a big deal in a lot of engagements for sure. I mean, I've seen so many games settled just from a commander dying, you know, when even armies were going into it. Like, I actually try to really, especially in Fox versus Fox matchups, like, commander goes down, that's game. That's just 100% game, because then your opponent can just focus fire down your Fox real easy. But Insouciant, coming in for the push, you know, he realizes, okay, I'm on a better economy, I've got the better units. Moves back a little bit too far, in my opinion. Kind of gives away the plan to make the Artie Cannon, but the Artie Cannon ends up tanking a ton of damage for Insouciant there, and it doesn't even die, and Master Wario taps out after that, man. What a great game. Okay. What's the phone is next? That's right. Okay. Sorry, man. I confused myself here. Anyways, guys, let's hop into match number 5. All right. Spawning in the bottom left, we've got Blitz Rider. And his opponent up top, What's a Phone? Those guys are normally hanging out in the chat, so I think I saw Blitz Rider. What's going on, guys? And a couple foxes this game. I like it. Blitz Rider going a little crazy, though. 2 tier 3 in the deck, Owl and Fox. Pretty neat. Like, Blitz Rider deck says a lot of things. Like, he's got Barbed Wire to deal with lizards, right? He's got the balloons because the balloons are just a good value unit in the late game, and also they allow you to punish an opponent who's rushing for a tier 3 or set up a contain. They also hard counter the Fox. And he's got his own Fox, right, to put on some early to mid-game aggression. And then he's got Owl Falcon later on to pivot into, you know, because, as I mentioned earlier, Fox isn't, like, the best unit in the super, super late game. You really want to get up that Owl count, as we've seen in the previous matches, man. That's like 5 or 6 Owls. That was insane. But meanwhile, What's a Phone's got a split pretty similar to what I use. You know, running a lot of tier 2, which is always rough. Like, I always want to do it. I don't think I ever really do, though. I mean, it's just so hard for me, man, to fit in, you know, 3 tier 2 units into my deck. He's got to sacrifice other things. You know, he can't include multiple tier 1s like pigeons, lizards, moles. You know, you can't do anything like put a balloon in there. I think if you're going to run 1 defense, oftentimes the turret is the right move to make, because turrets do really well in the early game, and they're kind of the Swiss Army knife of defensive structures. You know, they do pretty well against most things. Hard countered by the ferret, but other than that, they do pretty good. You know, balloon is strong, but there's a lot of tier 1 in the meta, and balloon just doesn't do very good against the tier 1. But so nothing super crazy yet. Blitz Rider taking a fairly quick expansion, but I don't blame him. This map is basically begging for it, and especially since he's, you know, running barbed wire, he wants to kind of stretch out before placing that barbed wire down. And, you know, now this barbed wire and a balloon that he makes here, if he does, is going to do a good job of defending both of these bases, you know, rather than just building the barbed wire right around his main, right? You might as well, if you're going to invest in that barbed wire, have it protect a couple things if possible. And What's a Phone's going for a heavy tier 2 opening. You see this sometimes. I feel like What's a Phone's build order was pretty standard. I think he went 2 tier 1 into a ferret, and then divulge, you know, with the second tier 2. You see this build though. I don't really want to call it too much of a divergence. Like, it's a pretty standard thing to do. You know, if you're gonna go for a fast tier 2, you kind of have those 2 options of reinforcing with more tier 1 or going into an additional tier 2 and trying to hit with a multi-prong attack there. Hilarious with the bit cheer, man. I appreciate it. So, let's see. Now, Foxes, it's going to be rough for What's a Phone with a Fox here. Nice little base from What's a Phone over here, by the way. This is kind of a rough map, to be honest, for What's a Phone. You know, this base isn't really his. Like, I don't think either players are going to get this base this game. If they do, then they're probably going to win the game from there, because that's just way too much control. Like, Blitz Rider's already got balloons and barbed wire set up. There's no way What's a Phone could take that. What's a Phone realizes that. He's got that campfire going up there for him, which is nice, but really goes hardcore on the space at the bottom right, and just kind of hoping that Blitz Rider doesn't really notice it. But even if Blitz Rider does, oh wow, What's a Phone actually pivoted out of the ferrets. I like that a lot. It probably took me way too long to notice that. I apologize. I think he did that a while ago. But yeah, he realized, you know, I don't really need ferrets here. Ferrets don't do anything at all to barbed wire or balloons. Plus, attacking up this high ground would be difficult regardless. So instead, he's going to spend that money just going really hard on the second base. But now Blitz Rider knows, so What's a Phone needs to get over there and defend this immediately. Blitz Rider even taking this campfire on the move out here. More bits coming in from Swifty and Microphone. I appreciate it, guys. And here we go. Blitz Rider's focus firing down this grist mill. What's a Phone is not in position. He realizes this and goes for the counter attack instead. Let's see how well the counterattack does. Now, the chameleons can actually target down that barbed wire, which is good for What's a Phone. Not a whole lot of units can. And, yeah, What's a Phone's going to return the favor and take out the second base from his opponent. But Blitz Rider's been mining on the second base for quite some time. And Blitz Rider also didn't fully saturate it. What's a Phone fully saturated this, man. That is huge. Oh man, math on stream. That's 540 food he spent, right? The gristmill and 8 farms? That's insane. Blitzrider realizes he needs a second base. We're just now hitting the 5-minute mark rather. As you can see, both players lost 4 farms there. And What's the Phone denies this position again and stops that balloon from going down. This is very, very important for What's the Phone. He cannot allow Blitzrider to stretch out on the map so far. But Blitzrider's got plenty to defend this, and now the Owl is on the way, or at least the Warren's been placed down. He's still got to wait to actually build the thing. Yeah, he realizes it's probably a little too scrappy to go for that tier 3. He's got to get this position up, and I don't blame him, man. One tier war, Swifty, thanks, man. Throw pennies at me, dude. Oh, man. Like last stream, I was adjusting the bit volume. I was like, somebody donate just 1 bit so I can make sure this. Oh man, greedy Delthius, you're asking for a penny. Oh, Kerpa's stepping it up with 4 bits, man. He's not messing around. But, dude, like this game has been so back and forth. It's awesome. And Blitzrider really needs to get something up, but so does What's the Phone. They both have campfires here, and yeah. This is why this area is so important for What's the Phone, because if What's the Phone can claim this, he actually can take his own natural expansion on top of denying Blitzriders, right? So it's a win-win. And Blitzrider doesn't have a whole lot of other options here. He's going to expand down south, but this is a nice little spot, to be honest, though. Yeah, this is pretty good for Blitzrider. What's the Phone's probably not aware. I mean, he knows those exist, but he doesn't know Blitz expanded there, which might be a big deal, man. Once these farms come up, it's gonna put. Oh man, this is a big scout for What's the Phone. Okay, now he knows what he's up against. That's what's important, because you might like all in harder, right? If you don't think this exists for your opponent. If you're like, man, he's got to have nothing left at this point. You know, I've got a second base, he doesn't. Yeah, that's a totally different mindset as rather than okay, we're on equal footing. So What's the Phone knows what's up here, and I think I like What's the Phone's army a bit better than Blitzriders. The Chameleons. We'll get in there and knock down Blitzrider's squirrels real fast, and What's the Phone's got a lot of squirrels to target fire down those Falcons relatively quickly. Blitzrider really needs to get this base established and then get some more squirrels out here to be able to hang on. Goes for the win with the mid cheer, man. I appreciate it, dude. It was cool talking about music with you the other day. I really like those recommendations, man. But okay, a little sneak attack here from What's the Phone coming in. Looks like Blitzrider's aware. Like, he knows the Chameleons are out. He's seen them this game and does a nice little defense. I like that. You know, nice play from Blitz, but needs to be careful, man. I almost wouldn't mind, like, I guess he can't, though. I was going to say maybe, like, selling these Warrens and trying to reposition them, but then he'd be, like, totally exposed to a big attack from What's the Phone. We're at the 8-minute mark here, and we've definitely devolved to a scrappy game. Is What's the Phone gonna do it? Oh, here it comes. Boom, son. The Fox has been placed. So What's the Phone's is probably gonna be defensive here. Try to hug this turret and you know, kind of bluff his way into not getting attacked by Blitzrider. Blitzrider's got a better economy here. He might know something's up, though, because What's the Phone didn't take these last 3 bases, but you know, there might be a window while What's the Phone's investing this 360 food into the Fox for Blitzrider to hit real hard before the Fox is out. But Blitzrider is up to no good himself. It looks like he's preparing to drop a tier 3. Oh, actually the Owl. I was thinking it would be the Fox, but Chameleon's coming in. They're going to get a pig and back out. Yeah, there we go. Very nicely done by What's the Phone there. All right, Fox is coming, man. That's going to be huge for What's the Phone. Blitzrider doesn't really have any good answers to the Fox. He's got balloons, but he doesn't have any out on the map. You can be damn sure, right, when Blitzrider sees that Fox, he's going to try to make some sacrifices to get a balloon or 2 up. But he hasn't seen, I don't think either player, yeah, they haven't really been scouted. You don't scout main bases as much in this phase of the game, so I'm not surprised. It looks like Blitz is going to try to get in for a scout now, but, oh, he's actually going to get in here. Is he going to go all the way? No, just scouts the front. And the fox is almost up. The barbed wire is going to be difficult for the fox, the water. But overall, I mean, falcons and squirrels are easy prey for the fox, man. Pick those off all day long. And here we go, fox is here. Gotta run through the water. Maybe try to get a couple shots in on these pigs. Picks off a unit. I think it was just a squirrel. Boom. Gets a pig. That's a big deal. Needs to be careful though. Those falcons might be able to catch up to the fox because they're flying units, but I mean, fox is a one-shot falcon, so really Blitz Rider needs to be trying to keep these falcons away. And the owl is gonna do a good job against the fox. You know, mice are pretty annoying, but one owl. I mean, I don't know. Like with the changes Andy made, one owl is more effective than it used to be. As you can see, these mice get out of here pretty quickly now. So the owl is a good answer to the fox, man, for sure. Because for one, you know, the swift, right? Anything with swift against the fox is good. For two, you know, it doesn't really matter if you hit a mouse. Look at that, man! Target fire from Blitz just absolutely deletes that fox. And now Blitz is gonna come in here. Nice tanking on this owl. Needs to get this owl out alive though. 2 HP. It goes down. That is huge, man. Trading tier 3. I don't even know anymore. That's crazy. I think they're around the same spot. I mean, pretty even economies. But What's a Phone's committing to another fox here. Meanwhile, Blitz Rider just decided, okay, the tier 3 play is done. I mean, man, if Blitz Rider was able to get that owl out there, that would have been a dominating position. Gonna come in here, but What's a Phone had a really good spread. You know, this is a really interesting thing in Tooth and Tail I kind of want to highlight for a second. Like, you know, it was relatively even amount of squirrels there, but the fact that What's a Phone was already set up, it was, you know, spread and had a nice concave. You know, Blitz Rider's units are taking hits as they're walking in, as they're finding their own tiles. You know, any unit is not gonna fire until it finds its own tile to stand on, like that, you know. So you kind of get that additional defender's advantage. If you're already set up, you know, you got your feet planted on the ground firmly, and your opponent comes in, he can be in a good spot. That's why retreating is so difficult in Tooth and Tail. And as you can see, What's a Phone tried to pedal back a little bit there and took a lot of free shots, because kind of the same thing there. As Blitz Rider's units had found their tiles and were attacking, you know, What's a Phone was moving, and What's a Phone's fox takes some serious hits but manages to stay alive. Now this is rough if you're What's a Phone, man. Do you feel like being die hard here? You know, you feel like going crazy with this fox? No, he's gonna let it heal up, man. I can be a little dicey sometimes. I'll be like, you know what, my fox is at 8 HP. I'm fine. I can get in there, kill a couple more things. But this is definitely the better move to make, man. Let that thing heal up for a second, and then keep the harassment going. Okay, well, bad economies for both players at this point. Third base is getting established. We're at the 13-minute mark of this game, guys. That's insane. It's been really back and forth. I love when we're, like, super late in the game and both players have, like, such scrappy little armies, you know, whatever they can afford, and, you know, barely have an economy. Balloon gets up, but Fox backs out in time. If this Balloon gets target fire down by the squirrel, it's a big deal. Looks like it's gonna die. Now the fight starts, but nice target firing from Blitz on the Fox. 3 HP, but is the Falcon going to be able to do it? No, it's not. 1 HP left on that Fox. It's going to survive. Blitz Rider knows that's that and taps out. What a great match. Okay. So don't forget, guys, man, I just updated my Tooth and Tail events section underneath the stream. I know a lot of you guys are already aware of this, you know, through the Discord. If you're not on the Discord, for one, get on the Discord, man. That is the spot to be. But there's a lot of stuff going on, man. Check out this video that Ormfan made on Pedro's Time Zone Showdown. There's a link to that in the events section. Pretty cool, man. If you're into math and graphs and stuff, you kind of analyze like pick choices and win rates and stuff. And Tooth and Tail League Season 2 is underway. I think qualifier number 3 just finished. And I don't think it's like a hard, like, you're in the tournament at this point. It's kind of like a point system between the qualifiers. And, You know, so take a look at that, man. There's a few qualifiers left, NA and EU. You can join either if you're from either region. The qualifiers are just split to, you know, kind of have some times that are convenient for both regions, because we have a pretty strong European player base, man. So we want to make sure, you know, we try to organize things around them as well. And also, Jed Erickson's Tooth and Tail PvP campaign is under development. That's going to be really cool, man. It's going to be like a day one. That will be casted here on this channel. And it's going to be day one of like a standard best of 3 tournament. And then the top 4 players are going to represent factions and go through some custom story mode maps. And it's going to be a lot of fun, man. So check out the information on those as well. Alright, so we have the other Swifty vs. Protocam game coming up, but I might skip that. I know you guys, I don't mean to be mean, but I do have a couple other, we might come back to it, we'll see. But I have a few other unique submitters that came in, and I want to try to get as many different people onto the show as I possibly can. So I think it's about time for a 2v2 match here. Premium Bo is a little late with his submission, but it's okay, we'll get it in. So let's hop into a 2v2 match, guys. Let's do it. Alright, spawning in the bottom, we've got Mr. Ominous and Fetaflex. And up top, their opponents, Premium Bo and Ella. Premium Bo with the premium strats here, running 3 tier 3. It makes sense because, you know, tier 3 has the number 3 in it, so why not run 3 of it? And in the bottom, you know, Fetaflex is a name I recognize from a few months ago. I know he's not new, but Mr. Ominous and Ella I've never heard of. So I don't know if maybe they came in with the Humble Bundle, or if I just haven't casted replays of them. I try to, it's a really bad assumption to make, and I apologize when I do, but like when I don't recognize names, you know, from the tournament scene or from replay submissions, or just seeing names on the ladder when I play, oftentimes I assume they might be new players, but that's a bad assumption to make, because, you know, people play all the time when I'm not around, and don't, you know, not everybody, you know, focuses real hard on like the tournament scenes and stuff like that. But nothing crazy yet. 5 farm double for Premium. Looks like 6 farm double for Ela. And Mr. Ominous floating a little bit of money. Throws down some units. So yeah, we're gonna get a lot of tier 1 units out relatively quickly. No moles this game. So let's see, I'm kind of keeping my eye on Premium Bo. He's normally the initiator in these 2v2 matches, man. Very aggressive player, especially these lizards. And here we go, he's moving in now. Gonna get that building farm. That's a big deal, man. If you're ever under attack and you have a building farm, just sell it off, man. Because that'll die so fast to anything, really. But now, Premium Bo and Ella have joined forces, and they're coming down on Mr. Ominous real hard. Get a ton of damage done there. Lose a few lizards in the process, but definitely worth. And poor Fetaflex, man, just really didn't have a whole lot to help his buddy out. He went for an 8, you know, maybe 7 or 8 farm, just single Warren opening. Got a campfire as well. And second base going down for Ela. And where's Premium Bo going to take it from here? Is he going to take an expansion, or is he just going to keep the pressure on? Fetaflex did come in and give us bro a turret, you know, but it was a little after the fact. And Mr. Ominous is a little worried now, man. He cut back on the farms in lieu of some more units. I don't blame him. He just doesn't want to lose the game immediately. And Ella, man, is just starting to claim a ton of gristmills on this map. Overall, I think this gristmill split, just at first glance, looks pretty even. If anything, yeah, there's 6 on the right side and 6 on the left. So yeah, I mean, it's a pretty even gristmill split. I don't think either team is super favored. If anything, you might say green and yellow might have a better position here because they have high ground. Ooh, Arty Cannon going up. I was about to say, I didn't think you could build on bridges, but that is not a bridge. That is a little piece of land. Just enough to throw an Arty Cannon. Ooh, these turrets reinforcing it might actually get up. I don't know, that's a lot of units there, yellow and green. Very well done. Identify they cannot let that artillery cannon go up and push it super hard and knock that thing out. fantastic, man. If that artillery cannon did get up, man, that would be super brutal for green and yellow to deal with. So and now they're starting to put the hurt on a little bit. Already took out a gristmill. And let's see, they have balloons and turrets and barbed wire, so they could really start reinforcing this front. Yeah, you see a turret go down there. Maybe even a balloon eventually. But Premium Bow's got the Fox on the way. We're about 20 seconds away from some Fox action here. But Fetaflex is continuing to push in with some moles. Reinforcing this. Knocks out a base for Ella, but that wasn't Ella's important base, man. That was Ella's extra base. That was a base for later. Ella's real base is over here, which is still up and running. In fact, he's the only one who has this up and running second base. Now, green does have a second base, but no farms on it. Yellow just takes one. Green takes another one. All kinds of gristmills being taken this game. People just really wanting to claim this territory as fast as they can and really try to divide this map in a way that's beneficial for them. If green and yellow can divide this map in such a way to get these these two extra gristmills in here, I mean, that's going to be huge over the long haul of this game. But the Fox is out here for Premium Bow. Let's see what he can get done with it. It's going to be rough for a Fox, man, having to go through the water, deal with defensive structures and high ground. So I don't think the Fox is really going to get a whole lot done here. Nice little anti-Fox setup here. Pokes in a shot, gets a squirrel. Okay, so Premium Bow taking some farms. Let's see, green really needs to invest in one of these expansions, man. He's got the money, but he's more concerned with getting this territory set up. He knows, if I can just invest in this front line and really pay close attention up here, then I've got this area, and I can macro up in a bit. Now throwing down a farm with that arty cannon, getting the range with the extra vision, coming here, take down a turret. That's going to give the Fox an opening before this balloon is done to start getting a couple pop shots off. A couple tier 1 units going down already. But this window for the Fox is closing, man. Those balloons are almost up, and no ferrets in the game here for blue and red. So that balloon has successfully completed. And this is going to be a rough spot for blue and red to push into, man. Through this water, this bridge is going to make all the units kind of, clunk together. Man, that'd be brutal if green and yellow had an arty cannon over that bridge. Lots of artillery here for Ella. Really denying this base. Green and yellow aren't going to be able to stretch out any further. Man, everybody's claiming so many gristmills on this map. It's insane. Yeah, Mr. Ominous has actually recovered fairly well, man. He's been a little quiet this game, but he's got this fully saturated up second base. Now, Ella's second base is pretty saturated as well. And now he's working on a third. More and more artillery cannons coming down here. The armies and the defensive positions for both players are just kind of adapting and evolving at this point. Getting into a little bit of a Cold War scenario here, so I might fast forward a little bit. We're at the 6:30 mark, so let's put it on some time too. As everyone just kind of sets up, poking in, trying to find some windows to come in. Premium Bow has a boar. Now he's got 2 owls on the way. The wolf is in production as well. No tier 3 here for green and yellow, though, and that might be their downfall. They've been doing really good in this game, and they've actually split the map favorably here. With this split, that's only 4 bases for red and blue, and 6 for green and yellow. I don't think anyone really gets this base, right? So great job from green and yellow, man. Really denying that extra base, extra couple bases, rather, from Premium Bow and Ella. But I feel like the problem here is that Premium Bow and Ella's power level is about to go super up, man. They're training with King Kai at the moment, man. They're getting that Kaioken style down, and once that comes in, there's no tier 3 for green and yellow, right? So yellow's trying to deal with this by building a lot of falcons. Feta is getting up quite a few chameleons. Falcons are a unit that do scale really well into the late game. Like, if you're not going to run tier 3, but you still want to have some kind of late game option, Falcon is definitely a good selection. Hey, Premium Bow calls me weeb. I'm not a weeb for making, the most mainstream anime reference ever, okay? If you didn't get that reference, I'm going to take your nerd card. So Premium Bow's got a hell of an army now, man. And this wolf is here buffing stuff up, too. All right. We're gonna fast forward a little more. Wait for a big engagement. But yellow and green, like, this is kind of crazy. Like, yellow and green have the map advantage, but blue and red have the power level here in the big army. And that might be all they need, man. One big engagement and start snowballing and just taking everything out. Here we go. That's a lot of Falcons, though, but green's army is not here, so this is going to be a 2v1 engagement for yellow. And these Falcons would have been better suited with some nice chameleons on the front line, but instead these chameleons are over here hoping to do a counterattack, but couldn't really get in. And wow, these Falcons are actually doing a pretty good job in a 1v2 situation, but they're all gonna die. Premium Bo's still got all the tier 3. Red still got his wolf. Yeah, the chameleons are coming in, trying to get something done here. Premium Bo is starving. Like, that chameleon did take out Premium Bo's last remaining mining base. Premium Bo has a ton of money here. Yeah, he's just gonna rebuild. No big deal. The wolf goes down. Man, like, if green was in position with those Falcons, the tank for them, I don't know if blue and red broke there, but green was out of position. I think he made the right call, you know, and decided to try to counterattack, but didn't get a whole lot of damage done. And meanwhile, yellow might be knocked out of this game here. Man, yellow trying hard, trying to get something done with the few units he's got left. He could try to sell something off and build another gristmill, but he's running out of time. He needs 20 seconds. He's got 5 seconds left. And it doesn't look like he's going to be able to get another gristmill up in time to not starve. So Mr. Ominous will be leaving this game here shortly. Meanwhile, blue and red, off the back of that big push, have claimed more territory and now are starting to surround their opponents. This is looking phenomenal for them, man. Like, I think it would have been rough even if green was there, but I think if green was there, they might, like, those Falcons were doing pretty damn good. It was just the Falcons. Mr. Ominous starves out. Now it's just Fetaflex left over. Blue and red just simply have too much. Ooh, maybe he holds on. We're 11 minutes in. He's got a lot of chameleons still. That agile from the boar, being able to move and attack, dealing with those chameleons very well. I mean, Fetaflex is putting up a great last stand, man, but at this point it really just comes down to numbers. It's a 1v2 situation. Let's see if he can make something happen. But blue and red are re-rallying in right now. Sells off all that defense in areas that he doesn't need it. Hopes to try to get another economy up and running. But Premium Bo and Ella aren't going to sit around and let that happen, man. Come in. Deal some pretty crippling damage. Now, Fetaflex has a few more gristmills left, but yeah, at this point, man, blue and red just simply have too much. And Fetaflex should be tapping out shortly. Okay, give me like a 2-minute break, guys. Just gotta do human things, like use the restroom and get a drink. So I'll be back in just a minute. Okay, I'm back. What's up, guys? Put on the old headphones here. How's it going, everybody? Thanks for tuning in, man. It's always a lot of fun hanging out with you guys, checking out some Tooth and Tail replays. Oh, wait, hang on. I don't know if I can find it quickly enough. I want to see what happened with the qualifiers. Let me see. I think if I just go here. Oh wait, oh, I do have it open. Okay, cool. Okay, it looks like Mishi managed to take the qualifiers, man. So congratulations. I don't know if that means, like, I think it's a point-based system, so you get points per win, you know? Best of one. Man, I didn't realize it was best of one. It probably finished up before the show started, right? I probably could have done it. Yeah, Mishi first, Classic Metal second, DJ Soak third. Definitely cool to say, man. Awesome to see Classic Metal and DJ Soak around, man. They're definitely OG players. DJ was like the guy, man, for the longest time. And he really helped give me content when I started the show out. So, anyways, guys, where are we at in this list? I think we have the second Swifty versus Protocam game, and you know, I think we should go into it. I think Swifty and Protocam, I've seen them in the chat tonight, so why not, guys? I'm in no hurry. Let's hop into this match right here. They finished at 8:08. Oh man, I totally could have done it. Could have started the show a little late. Anyways, guys, spawning in the bottom, we got Protocam. And his opponent to the top right, Swifty. Swifty rocking the owls this time. He's got that Owl Falcon balloon, like, hyper late game. That's pretty interesting. And then Lizard Toad. These tier 1 picks kind of remind me of what it was like back in the day. Where, you know, it was like mandatory in your deck that you either went Squirrel Toad, Squirrel Lizard, or in crazy situations, Lizard Toad. You did see Lizard Toad, but most of the time you either saw Squirrel Lizard or Squirrel Toad. I was more of a Squirrel Toad player myself. I did get into playing Lizards for a while, and I had a lot of fun with them, man. Doing run-around attacks and flanks and counter-aggression and stuff like that is a lot of fun. But I like to be in the guy. I'm always kind of that guy in any game, really, where I like to deflect, you know, the big pushes and stuff. Like, I like the Toad. Just getting that big connection with the Toad and taking out, like, 6 lizards or something, you know? That's what it's all about, man. And here we go. Protocam coming in with a little bit of early aggression against Swifty here. Now, Swifty does have his own worn out, but Lizards aren't that great on defense, man. They're reduced range. You know, look how much damage that Lizard took. Good micro from Swifty there, not losing that Lizard for sure. And that's hyper critical. Like, Swifty needs to get up to, like, a critical number of Lizards in this situation. Loses that farm there and that was building. That's pretty big. But yeah, like a critical number of Lizards that can come in, you know, tank some damage from the squirrels and be fine and get on there and knock all those squirrels down. But overall, I'd say pretty successful attack there from Protocam. You know, really abusing this high ground here that surrounds Swifty's base. Knocks out that farm. That was really the big deal. They kind of traded evenly-ish in Tier 1. Maybe Protocam got an extra Lizard. I'm not so sure, but really the big story there was the farm pickup. And Protocam didn't really slouch on his own economy, you know. He's pretty up and running, but overall we're in a similar position. You know, Protocam's got a bit of an economic lead here, and Swifty's gonna try to even that out now, even that up now rather, with a little bit of sneak attack from Lizard. Gonna get one pig for sure. Gonna commit to try to get the second pig, and even going for a third, but didn't quite finish the second pig off before he changed his target. Oh, that hurts, man. He for sure had that second pig. That is rough. And Protocam's going to counterattack here. A lot of Lizards, but Swifty's got a decent defender's advantage here. Gets a re-rally, gets enough Lizards out, pushes them back, but he takes out a farm there. Protocam does, so. That's 2 farm deaths this game on Swifty and 1 on Protocam. super aggressive game, man. Really cool to see. Swifty's going to try again. Turret going down. I don't know if that's going to be up in time, though, but it is going to give Protocam a little bit of extra information to get over in position more quickly. But no, the turret does get up as Swifty finds that nice juicy campfire to go ahead and knock out for free. Surrounds this turret, no big deal. It is going to come in here and get a lot more damage done. And Protocam was in the middle of a big tech change. He just sold off a bunch of warrants. He was going to be up to no good, man. Maybe try to rush up to a tier 2 or a tier 3. Yo, no, he actually just put down the Badger, yeah. So he just, that's rough, man. He committed to like a Badger tech switch right when Swifty is coming in. And Swifty takes the match. Really good game sense out of Swifty there. Yeah, I think Protocam submitted that, so. Submitted lots, man. Gotta give you props. That was a cool game, for sure. Alright, guys. Let's hop into the next match here. Get into the gentleman. A little bit of gentleman action. Alright, spawning to the right, we've got the gentleman. And his opponent to the top left, Big Pimpatosh. Alright, we got Boar versus Fox. Gentleman's got the moles. And overall... Like... Sorry, I'm just kind of, like, internalizing this map for a second. I guess it's better for Gentleman. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be really good for Big Pimpatosh in the early game here. And I love this campfire sneak. That is insane, like, especially this early on. I wouldn't recommend doing it this early on. I mean, you can, but it is a little risky indeed. And Gentleman is a really good player. He might realize that 60 food is missing. Yeah, look at that. He went over to scout that gristmill. He's like, oh, maybe he took a super fast gristmill or something like that. But I'm pretty sure Gentleman is aware something's got to be up because food is missing. And it's really easy to count food that early on. Gentleman might just take his own campfire here. No, he decides to go back instead. But yeah, what I was saying about this map, like, this starting position is pretty good for Big Pimpatosh over here. He's got this natural base, and he's going to be difficult to attack. And also, you know, Gentleman's got this high ground right here, but if Tosh can get in with this Fox, you know, that's going to be monumental. Now, if the game goes longer, if we get into a longer game, obviously this is a map that's geared towards the Gentleman. But I feel like in the early to mid game, Tosh has an advantage here. He can get that second base, no problem. He can rush a fast Fox, and Gentleman wouldn't be able to do too much about it as long as Tosh had some good turret placement here. This is kind of like the ideal rush a Fox spawn, right? You know, throw down a couple turrets, get this Fox way in the back. You got the double high ground, you got the water around you. But the onus, if that was the case, if Tosh did rush for a Fox there, you know, then it really comes down to this high ground. If Gentleman controls this high ground and prevents Tosh from getting up here, then he would be great. But if Tosh did manage to take this high ground, you know, that might snowball to a loss to the Gentleman. And that's why I feel like this map might be a little more favored for Tosh. It's going to be rough for the Gentleman to deliver a timing attack right when this tier 3 is out, just because, I mean, look at this fortress up here, man, that Tosh has. But, you know, if Tosh can't secure this high ground, and Gentleman knows how important this high ground is, and goes ahead, throws a nice little turret on that double high ground there, just has that one little sweet tile there to throw that on. And yeah, if Gentleman can hold on, and Gentleman doesn't die to this Fox aggression, then he should take the game, because it's going to be very difficult for Tosh to take a third or a fourth. I mean, these bases are practically out of the question, and the rest of these gristmills down here definitely belong to the Gentleman, so it's kind of neat. It's like if this game lasts longer than 6 or 7 minutes, I feel like Gentleman's got it, but Tosh has a great opportunity to come in here and seal the deal beforehand. So I'm really interested to see it. We're almost at the 3:30 mark here. Tosh has a nice, you know, he's got his second base up. He's got the Fox on the way. And Gentleman's in a similar position, although he did not take, oh, wow. Somehow I missed the Gentleman coming over here and taking that out. I apologize, guys. I might have been too deep in, like, analyzing this high ground outside of the Gentleman's base. And look at this, man. He sells off that turret to try to just get a bigger and better army out. And Tosh has the composition up he wants now. I'm curious to see if he's gonna move out. Here we go, Gentleman's coming in, man. This is a pretty scary army, but again, this is a very defensible position here for Tosh. The Fox coming up, it's gonna get a lot of pop shots on this army. It's gonna be able to retreat pretty far back, and it's eventually gonna be able to land enough shots to kill that boar once all the other units around it are taken out. But lots of healing here from the Gentleman onto that boar. He's getting healed by 9 pigeons at this moment, but eventually the Fox does take that out. And this is what I was talking about, man. Gentleman executed that timing attack and had a fantastic army, but this environment here for Tosh, at least at this phase of the game, is highly advantageous. He's able to defend that now. He did take some damage there. He lost a couple farms. He rebuilds there. My only critique is he should have rebuilt in this area because these are already kind of mined out, you know? Just get more value taking those fresh farms. It wasn't possible. And now the Fox harassment can begin, and he's creeping up onto this high ground. But he's gonna have to back out for now. He's got pigeons. I'd like to see a couple pigeons get thrown in here to maintain that high ground vision. But he's getting those toads, man, which is gonna help him kind of push in for the win, you know, like really commit to a strong engagement. It just kind of, Tosh is just kind of playing a little bit all around here. Building a couple turrets, you know, building a farm, getting a couple warren out. But Gentleman, man, is really hard committing to this all-in attack. And again, this is rough, man, because there's the water. All the units are clumping up on this bridge. You know, Gentleman's army is super sizable here. But this natural defense that Tosh has is some good turret placement and some high-value units like ferrets here. Might be enough. Let's see, he doesn't have his Fox anymore. But Gentleman actually breaks this. He's got a couple of moles that are really low HP. They die now. He's only got a handful of squirrels left in the main base, and these ferrets should be able to clean this up. And the Gentleman never committed to another expansion, man. He went really all in with that mole attack. And I think Tosh is fine at this point. A water balloon in the chat asks if pigs always had hats. No, man, I actually use a lot of custom skins on this stream. We have a lot of cool pixel artists that make little skin mods for the game, so I always try to show those off, man. Basically, every unit I have has a mod on it. But yeah, this was pretty cool, man. The little pig farmers and the little Fu Manchu mustaches, man. Yeah, Tosh takes the game, man. I think Gentleman played well. With the timing attack and the follow-up bull push, but the natural defenses, the good control there for Tosh. He's able to take the match. Okay, how are we doing on time? 9:30. We're gonna go for about another half hour, so looks pretty good. I might actually sneak in this microphone game real quick, because we haven't seen one of his tonight, and then we will continue. I think most of the games from here have had players that we've already seen. So let's hop into this this game right here. Let's do it. Ooh, there was an error loaded in the replay, huh? Doof. Uh-oh, microphone. Oh, it's 1 kilobyte. That's probably yeah, maybe try again, man. I guess the game doesn't like a 1 kilobyte replay. Okay, anyways, we won't do that then. Let's hop into Amistria versus the Gentleman. Okay, spawning to the left, we've got Amistria. And her opponent to the right, the Gentleman. Alright. Gentleman's got that nice natural expansion. He's definitely got to be happy about that. Amistria, no tier 3 here. Running pretty heavy tier 1, tier 2. With barbed wire, so I'm wondering if Amistria's plan is to, like, do a big squirrel, pigeon, skunk push. You know, ferrets might be there just kind of as a utility pick in case I need them to bust through a lot of turrets. And then from there, if that doesn't work, or even if that does work, you know, you can transition into selling everything off, building up like 30 lizards and trying to go for a base trade. That's kind of what the deck tells me. And then the barbed wire there for Amistria is to counter, you know, base trade from your opponent to deal with lizards. And meanwhile, the Gentleman Playing a little more standard this time. 2 tier 1, 2 tier 2, a tier 3, and a defense. And, you know, again, he's got that Lizard option. I think Lizard, if you can fit it into your deck, is always a good pick because it gives you, it's like the Mole, like as you've seen games, kind of like last game with the Gentleman, or we saw other games tonight as well. You know, if you have the Mole in your deck, it opens up a lot of options. You can push in for a heavy tier 1 Mole play in the early to mid game. Obviously, you can do a really early game Mole attack. But you can also pivot into the super late game, sell everything off, build like 20 moles, and try to base trade. And I feel like the Lizard kind of adds a similar amount of utility to a deck composition, right? Because the Lizard, yeah, it's a great unit, just overall, it can flank, it moves fast, it deals pretty good, and does pretty good in tier 1 engagements. But it really gives you that power to pivot into that base trade. Hey, thanks for the follow, Water Balloon. Water Balloon, I appreciate it, man. Yeah, so Lizards give you that opportunity, right? Where you can just sell everything off later on and go for a big Lizard base trade. But so far, yeah, Mishra going for a pretty standard build. 2 tier 1 into the tier 2. And Gentleman, going for a heavy tier 1 variant in the early game here. And this might be rough. You know, Gentleman needs to strike now because this Skunk, you know, what the Gentleman's doing used to be a lot more popular until people really started utilizing Skunks more. Because now this build just gets like hard countered by Skunks. Because Skunks excel at killing tier 1, right? But there's this timing window the Gentleman is taking advantage of here where the Skunks are not quite out for Amistria, and he's going to come in right here, right now, and just dominate Amistria's forces. This is really slick, man. I like this a lot from the Gentleman. It's an interesting build. It's just hitting like right before the Skunk comes out and gets a lot of damage done. But the Skunk's going to come. Gentleman's commander goes down, so he's going to lose a lot more tier 1 there, and he's actually going to tap out, realizing that he didn't quite get enough damage done before the Skunk got out, and you know all of his real estate's in tier 1 at that moment, which Skunk is really good against, so he calls it. Okay. Looks like we got 3 more tonight. We got about 20 minutes, so that should be pretty good. Thanks for tuning in. As always, guys, you guys rock. I appreciate it. It's always nice to see everybody. Let's hop into match number 10. Okay, spawning to the top left, we've got FCG. And his opponent to the bottom right, Big Pimpatosh. Going for the Badger this time, and a little bit of a standard setup from FCG. And Tosh is going for, dropping that defense to fit in Squirrel, Lizard, and Pigeon. Pigeon makes a lot of sense in his composition. It's going to synergize really well with the Chameleon and Badger. And even the Snake, you'd be surprised. Snake's got a pretty decent HP pool, doesn't it? It's got at least 20, right? So yeah, I mean, I like the Pigeon almost regardless. Maybe it's incorrect. I run Pigeon a lot in instances where I don't have high HP units like Chameleons and Boars and those sorts of things. And yeah, I mean overall both these decks look pretty good. And Tosh, I mean as far as map gen goes, I like FCG's position better. I think. I think Tosh has a better position here. Because if you look at this, okay, this base right here will never be taken, right? It's just way too in the middle. If somebody takes that base, when I say that, I always feel like I make this disclaimer, but when I say a base is never going to be taken, what I really mean by that is if somebody does get that base, it's basically, that's game at that point anyways. They just control too much of the map, right? But Tosh over here, he's got 2 expansions and a campfire, and meanwhile, FCG has a little bit more of a defensible natural expansion, and he's got this 3rd up here to campfire as well, so actually kind of even resources on the map if you just kind of count this gristmill out, assuming neither player really is going to get the opportunity to take that. And yeah, and other than that, both players have the opportunity to go up to 3 bases in a gristmill. A little lizard attack coming in, gonna get a pig. That's rough for FCG there, especially because he invested in that turret, but nice pickup from the commander going down, getting an extra couple lizards for his trouble. But yeah, the reason I like this better for Tosh is for one, his bases are on high ground, which is huge, and also this water right outside the bases is going to make it difficult, even more difficult. Like, it's already rough, coming up and trying to advance onto high ground, but then you put some water in front of that as well, slow units down. That's going to be very difficult indeed. And FCG does have the same amount of resources on his side of the map, but this is really spread out, man. And Tosh has the lizards, so he's going to be able to flank attack and attack multiple locations quickly, fairly easily. But it's not the end of the world, you know. Overall, I feel like it's pretty even. I give a little bit of a favor to Tosh, but here we go. FCG coming in. He's got some squirrels here, but this is a real brutal spot to come into. Look at the minimap. I just noticed this about Tosh's main. Like, there's no like Tosh can position his units like he had them kind of on this cliff, right? And FCG's got to come all the way around and go into the ramp right there. Like, that's crazy. He might be better off trying to come in through this area, right? Because Tosh hasn't really claimed this high ground yet, so FCG could come in, claim this high ground with his units, maybe even build a gristmill and a turret, and then he'd have a little bit of an easier attack path going that way, I feel like. Second base is up for FCG. Tosh is thinking about taking his own. And Tier 2 is on the way. Typically in these numbers, Chameleons will win this fight. You know, if it's just a straight Chameleon versus Falcon fight with the same amount of squirrels and pigeons, you know. And the reason is the Chameleons will get in there, tank a lot of damage, and deal a lot of damage to the opponent's squirrels, leaving the Falcons vulnerable. Let's see it. It's going to come down to target fire as well. Nice target firing from Tosh, getting that Falcon down. And yeah, these Chameleons just mowed through the squirrel line there for FCG, and FCG is forced to pull back. And Tosh is going to go ahead and expand on the back of that, and maybe even think about putting on some follow-up pressure. So FCG does have his expansion up and running a little bit earlier, but Tosh has 2 campfires, so that's a pretty big deal. He's going to come in here and try to force an engagement. Let's see if FCG can hold. The Chameleons go down, which is a big deal. Gets the turret, but overall a nice victory there for FCG, knocking out those Tier 2 units of Tosh. Those are expensive, and they're going to take a long time to rebuild. So. Okay, we're closing in on the 5-minute mark, guys, in about 20 seconds. But second bases are up and running. Economies are relatively even because Tosh has those campfires. And I'm kind of curious to see who's going to be the guy to throw down that Tier 3 first, right? I mean, at the moment, they're just kind of building up their Tier 1, playing it safe. But Tosh needs to be careful. FCG is starting to get a little bit of an economic lead, man, placing down those additional farms more and more quickly. Here he goes, placing down another one. And you got to be careful. Like, this phase of the game is really important. Okay, we see why Tosh doesn't have so many farms. Instead, he opts to go for the Badger. But it's really, really critical in this phase of the game to keep tabs, yeah, as you can see Tosh doing right now. Keep tabs on how many farms your opponent's taking. Because that's really easy scouting information. Sometimes, like, Tosh did manage to get in here and get a full scout out, but sometimes at this phase, that can be really hard. You know, your commander can just kind of get taken down by your opponent's army or defense before you can really get in there. So another way you can kind of extrapolate, you know, the composition or value of your opponent's army is looking at how much money they're investing on their expansion. And FCG is going hardcore, man. Going up straight to 8 farms, so it's pretty acceptable at this phase of the game. I feel like FCG might be a little bit greedy, and Tosh might be, you know, not greedy enough. But there's a reason Tosh doesn't have additional farms. He's trying to sneak that Badger out without really, you know, compromising his army. You know, if you're gonna get a Badger at this phase in the game, you either A, have to have a couple less units than your opponent, or B, have a couple less farms. But now that the Badger has been financed, you know, Tosh can go ahead and throw down a couple more farms to help his position. This higher campfire did get taken out by FCG, and FCG goes ahead and takes that base up in the top as well. Putting his economy in a good spot, man. He's getting a good Falcon build up here. But the Badger is about to be out. I wonder if Tosh is going to move out with it. No, it doesn't matter. FCG is moving out instead. And the Badger is forced to be reckoned with, but it's got to be revved up, man. It no longer gets revved up on commanders anymore. So let's see. It's revved up now. It's going to start dealing some considerable damage here. 10 HP left on that Badger. Good job kind of taking some hits on it, you know, but not quite losing it. That's very important because it's going to tank a lot of damage for your other units. And yeah, Tosh holds that off just fine. FCG lost a lot there, but Tosh lost a decent amount. But overall, The big piece of the puzzle FCG is trying to eliminate from Tosh's army at this point is that tier 3, right? Like, FCG is not going to be happy going into an engagement and not killing that Badger from here on out. And third base looks like it's going to start getting saturated here from FCG. No third base just yet for Pimpatosh here. He's really focusing more on his army, man. It's going to work well if he attacks right here, right now, and it looks like he's going for it. But if he gives FCG a little bit too much breathing room, you know, the amount of farms that he's got really could let him snowball this to a victory. But here we go. Badger coming in, sneaks up onto this high ground. And so far, really good micro from Tosh and FCG. FCG target firing down that Badger, though, and it does fall, which is huge. A good victory there from FCG, but Tosh keeps most of his chameleons alive here. I'd imagine he's going to go back and sell off this Badger Warren at this point. No, okay. I was going to say, maybe he's selling other stuff to try and get another Badger, but yeah, sells off the Badger. And is going to try to get an economy going again, and just make sure he's got enough tier 1 out on the field to not die. We'll fast forward a little bit here. We're coming up on the 9-minute mark of this game. And third base is up and running for FCG. And we're just going to wait and see who's going to move out here. Tosh, I feel like Tosh really's got to be the one to be the aggressor at this point, or take his own third. Yeah, he takes his own third. So FCG moving out now. We're at 9 minutes, 20 seconds into the game. Coming in here for the big push. And Chameleon's doing a good job on the front line so far, but they're starting to fall to these Falcons. These Falcons doing great damage here. And I like that FCG turns around only losing one Falcon before it really snowballed out of control for him. Okay. 10 minutes in, man. Getting a few more farms on that expansion, but FCG's just had this economic lead, like, all game long. And Tosh has been doing a great job, you know, kind of trying to deal with that. He looked like he was going to try to sneak those chameleons over to that top expansion of FCG, but the big engagement is coming in yet again. We got to see the target firing here. Tosh doing his best to target down these Falcons. Meanwhile, FCG trying to target down the chameleons. And overall, it looks like Tosh is just enough to hold on here. Huge victory there for Tosh. You know, I mean, he lost a lot. You know, basically both players lost like all their tier 2 there. But Tosh still has a ton of squirrels left over, and that's going to allow him to counterattack and maybe even take out this top base here for FCG, which is pretty important, man. That's really the majority of his income at this point. It goes down. FCG is going to try to counterattack, but 9 squirrels to 18, man. Let's see it. The engagement coming in. The chameleons are unstealthing from the shadow, trying to beat down on some nerds. The army for red just disappears. Tosh holds off FCG's attack, and now Tosh is in a dominating lead. He's got plenty of money. He's going to use that money to get more ahead by building additional farms there. And FCG is going to try to muster up whatever he can, but he's starving now. Like, that third base was super critical for him. And that is no longer in existence, so really doesn't have a whole lot left, and he's going to try to retake that base. I mean, you got to try to do something, but Tosh knows he's got a heavy advantage here. He's going to push in. And that should basically be all she wrote for FCG. Okay, 2 more. We'll do 2 more tonight. It's 9:50, but I'll run a little over and do 2 more. I'm gonna say we're gonna do 2 more, and then they're both gonna be like 30-minute games, right? We'll get into it though. Let's check it out. Game number 11 here. Let's hop into it. On the left, we've got Valeris and his opponent to the top, Insucia. Alright, Valeris, a pretty well-known player, man. He's on the ladder a lot. Definitely check out his stream, twitch.tv/Valeris. I think that's it. And, yeah, he streams a lot. He's a great player. And Insucian's no slouch himself, man. such a long feast tonight. Love it. Hey, we're just regular time so far. So far. But Insouciant, where's the mole? Where's the mole? Okay, mole's coming in. Mole's coming in. Ooh, this is gonna be huge. Insouciant's not at home, so he's gonna be able to take out that building farm. That's enormous. Insouciant, just get out of there, man. You've done the damage. Keep that mole alive. Let's see if you can get it home. Valera's trying to trick the mole's AI to come in closer and get in range of the pig farmers there. Even trying to make a turret to mess with it, but Insouciant's gonna get his little buddy out of here eventually. And just kind of make sure he knows what Valeris is up to. And Valeris is not happy about what just happened there. It goes for a 5-farm double, but Insouciant knows it, which is very important. So he knows not to be too greedy, and he's gonna go ahead and throw down a couple warrens himself. But actually, his economy is looking pretty good, man. The squirrel's gonna be here for Valeris, but one squirrel is just not gonna be enough, especially up on that double high ground. So he's got to back out for now. And Valeris, man, he wants to put the pressure on, even taking a gristmill, expand that territory, maybe throw down a turret or two, get that healing. And he's got a lot here. Insouciant sells that farm immediately. Good play there. The mole goes down, though. That's huge. That's 60 food. 1 squirrel dying for Valeris. 2 squirrels going down, so 40 food to 60 food there. Valeris with a little bit of an edge in that engagement. Man, this is such a cool match. All right. Valeris just got pissed, man. I think he got tilted. I think he was like, "You're gonna mold me, bro?" All right, I'm gonna 5-farm double. And look at that, I love it, man. Pivots, I love seeing guys pivot, man. He sells off a Warren, make sure his economy's not slouching, reinforces his front line, and now he's just trying to adjust into a contain strategy here. If he can really claim this area and not let Insouciant out, you know, then Insouciant can't expand, and Valeris will win in like 4 or 5 minutes. But Insouciant realized this and not going to sit around and just let that happen. He's just got barely enough here to clean out the turrets from Valeris. Valeris might have been a little too greedy from selling that second Warren, to be honest, man. If he hadn't have done that, he might have had enough to hold on there. Great play for Insouciant, for sure. And he's going to follow this up with just a lot of squirrels and try to knock Valeris out of the game. Valeris realizes he's on his back feet right now. On his back foot, rather. And it throws out a couple turrets. Make sure he doesn't die. Look at that. Nice little territory abuse here. I think, you know, kind of hiding these turrets in here into these rocks. Sells one off. Realizes, okay, maybe not as big of a counterattack's happening. No, but Insouciant changes things up, man. Sells off a couple Warrens and throws down a boar, which is definitely a cool move to make. I think he probably would have won if he just would have follow-up pushed. But this is really going to seal in that victory. And look at this. Insouciant's got a second base up and running. You know, he's getting his economy ahead. And he's just going to hang out. He's just going to wait for that boar to come up. You know, Valeris is really investing in Tier 1 right now. Actually, now just throws down a snake. But that boar is going to do fantastic against Valeris' composition here. Now, is Valeris aware? Okay, so he knows about the gristmill. He's going to come in here, see how many farms there are, see how many squirrels there are. He's thinking about moving in. But he's got toads on the way. Yeah, and he's going to go for it. He's got the target fire here. Insouciant's not here to target fire himself, and look at the difference that target fire made, man. Valeris didn't have that many more squirrels than Insouciant did right there. But just being there to micro and focus fire down specific units makes all the difference in the world. Valeris takes a big win there. That's exactly what he needed to stay into this game. Knocks out this gristmill as well from Insouciant, puts him back onto 8 farms, and we're almost at the 4-minute 30-second mark here. Okay, the boar is not... No, it's paid for, yeah. It's kind of hard to see with the pixel art, like right when the timer starts on that. But yeah, the boar is paid for. It's gonna be out in about 30 seconds. And that's gonna be rough for Valeris, man. He really doesn't have any no, he does have snakes though. I was about to say he doesn't have anti-boar, but snakes are pretty damn good anti-boar. Now I don't know if 2 is enough to get an appropriate amount of stacks of poison, but Insouciant doesn't have any pigeons in this big engagement that Valeris just takes here. Another big win that really helps his cause out. And Valeris has the second base going on, so really, Insouciant, man, he's gonna have this boar, and he's gotta make this push work. Oh, and Valeris gets the scout off. But basically, right when the boar's gonna be marching over to him anyways. His commander goes down, but it's not gonna make a difference here. The commander's back up. before Insouciant's army shows up, and Valeris throwing down a second turret. Insouciant doesn't have a whole lot, but he's got some falcons and he's got a boar. So with some good micro here, he might be able to make a miracle happen, but those turrets are going to make this very difficult. Yeah, Insouciant maybe feels like he just doesn't quite have enough. I'm not so sure. It's a tough call, man. I don't think he's got enough with those turrets there. If those turrets weren't there, I think maybe, you know? I mean, Valeris, yeah, he's got the snakes, but he's still primarily tier 1, and the board does fantastic against that, right? Tries to harass in with these snakes. He cannot lose these snakes here. One goes down. He only got a squirrel in return, and here comes the boar, absolutely wrecking all the tier 1 of Valeris' army. And look at this, Insouciant is still alive here, still got enough HP on the board to be up front, dealing damage. He kept the falcons alive. Wow, that was an awesome engagement, dude. I can't believe Insouciant came out on top. Valeris just got a little greedy with those snakes, man. He tried to get in there and get some harassment done. But in the end, traded 2 snakes for a squirrel, and Insouciant knew that was the time to strike. Hopped on top of it, and I think he's just going to take the win from here. What a great game. Okay, we'll do one more, guys. One more replay. Match number 12. Thanks for tuning in and hanging out with me, man. I really appreciate it. Let's hop into this. Okay, spawning on the left, we've got Protocam. And his opponent to the right, March Faster. All right, both pretty well-known players. You know, frequent submitters to the show, viewers of the show, so I'm pretty familiar with both these guys. I'm looking forward to this matchup. I think they're friends in real life, unless I'm thinking of Protocam and somebody else. But I remember Protocam talking about like a couple other guys that I recognize. I forget their names, but that they're all kind of buddies in real life. But anyways, Boar here for Protocam and Wolf for March Faster. Other than that, everything looks pretty standard, you know. I mean, Squirrel Lizard Pigeon from March Faster, trying to squeeze in that lizard, kind of as we saw in a previous match, and sacrificing that defensive pick in order to do so. Meanwhile, Protocam kind of running this bread and butter standard deck, man. If you're a new player looking for a deck to steal, man, steal Protocam's deck right here. I think that's a fantastic lineup. You know, maybe Chameleon you can swap out for Skunk or swap out for Ferret. You know, you can swap out the Pigeon for Lizard if you want, but something like that is pretty good. But March Faster has a Wolf with a Falcon and Ferret. And either of those are pretty deadly combinations. March Faster also gets this free campfire. He's going to go ahead and take advantage of that. I think that's about the right time. I think he went like 8 farm, you know, 1 tier 1, campfire, 2nd tier 1. I think that makes sense. And meanwhile, Protocam, just open up 3 tier 1, you know, no big deal. March Faster is going to do the same, so really curious to see if we're going to go into 4, 5, 6 tier 1, or if players are going to throw down a tier 2, or a Gristmill, or a tier 3. You know, those are really the 3 or 4 options available at this point. So far, just more tier 1. You can get into this interesting phase as we saw with that game with the Gentleman, you know, where you can reach this timing attack and come in and pounce on your opponent if they try to transition out of tier 1 into tier 2, you know, right before that tier 2 gets established. But Mishra had a really good hold that game. Didn't quite work out for Gentleman, but a lot of times it can. And Protocam is just coming in here with straight up squirrels against March Faster Squirrel Pigeon. And it looks like he's just going to try to snipe this campfire, and I think he's going to get away with it. March Faster's commander is not in position to deal with this. But March Faster has a high ground here. He does have a significantly smaller amount of scrolls. There's 9 scrolls for March Faster versus 14 of Protocam coming into this. But March Faster does have these pigeons here. And it might kind of make this a little even. Looks like Protocam gets the better end of it for a moment, but the defender's advantage and the healing from the pigeons start to kick in, and he's pushed back for the time being. Overall, I think that was fairly even, but Protocam knocked out that campfire, right? That's a big deal. And the boar comes down immediately for Protocam on the back of that fight. And March Faster isn't messing around, man. He's going to take advantage of this high ground here outside of Protocam's base to start taking some shots on those Warrens, but Protocam's going to hard engage in here. Nice target firing for both players here. Protocam specifically, man, some good target fire there on his opponent's squirrels, but March Faster might just have a few too many units here, as Protocam did invest into that tier 3, and March Faster's just been going hardcore on tier 1. You can really see the difference. And looks like, I mean, I feel like March Faster can keep this attack going. I don't think Protocam's held completely yet, but has the boar been bought and paid for it? And the boar hasn't finished the Warren construction yet, but it should soon. And March Faster is going to have enough money. Really impressive to actually have enough money with how scrappy this game has been to afford that boar like exactly when it came out. But he's only down to 3 squirrels here, and 12 squirrel, worth of Warrens for March Faster. Protocam is really clutching onto these turrets to stay alive in this game, and March Faster is coming in and being even more aggressive. He hasn't seen the tier 3 from Protocam, but this has really just been a big reaction to that first initial move out from Protocam. So, I mean, less than 20 seconds and the boar is here, man. The window is closing. Great position on these turrets here, really utilizing that surface area block from that high ground. It's going to be difficult for March Faster to focus fire down those turrets, right? Because think about how much space that squirrels could occupy, right, is being blocked off by that little inaccessible cliff there. And March Faster is going to slow down, but the boar is here. If I'm Protocam, man, I'm going for it at this point. He doesn't have any squirrels, though. The boar coming in by itself, basically. I don't know if he wants to boar bomb. He probably wants to keep it alive, man. 20 HP still. I was getting worried as I saw a low HP on the bar there, but the pool for the boar is absolutely, through the roof. He's got some pigeons here to clean it up, man. I feel like Protocam should probably sell off some of these turrets in lieu of some more squirrel Warrens at this point. Commander going down for March Faster, though. Loses the rest of his squirrels, only has pigeons left, and he taps out. Protocam takes some game. Okay, guys, that is going to be it for the show tonight. What's a phone? I'm late, dude. I just literally said that's it for the show tonight as What's a Phone comes in. Oh, no, man. You were in here. We did a What's a Phone replay. It was a good match. But before I go, I do have to give some shout-outs for community events going on, man. If you're not on the Discord, for one, get on the Discord, guys. That's on my community channel. So, if you look underneath the stream you're watching right now, you have the Tooth and Tails events column, you got the community column. If you're not on the Tooth and Tail Discord, man, definitely join. It's great. You can find a lot of information about the game going on, or maybe if you're looking for some custom match games or something like that, you can find some players. But the real spot is the Tooth and Tail events section, man. Ormfan made this really cool video, really analyzing like pick rates and win percentages for units and stuff like that from Pedro's Time Zone Showdown, man. So give him a little love there, man. Check out his video. It's pretty impressive, like a lot of the graphs and stuff he's got going on there, man. Really cool to see. I don't think I've ever seen like that level of math nerdiness on a Tooth and Tail tournament, so I love it, man. I'm an engineer, so I'm a math nerd, so I enjoyed it, man. Definitely check it out. And Tooth and Tail League Season 2 is ongoing, hosted by Best Sakuya NA. The qualifiers are going on right now. Join the qualifiers, man. It's just for fun. I'm going to be in the qualifier on Saturday, man. Join the It's going to be best of one like tournament, but the qualifiers are kind of based on like this point structure where you're trying to earn points from playing in the qualifiers and winning matches and stuff like that. So definitely check that out, man. I got the Google Doc and Discord there in the Tooth and Tail events section. And Jed Erickson has been organizing the Tooth and Tail PvP campaign. A lot of people are involved in that, man. A lot of coders are, like, there's so much work going into the PvP campaign. Honestly, to me, it looks like one of the best events that Tooth and Tail has seen. I know that's a bold statement, man, but just in, like, the production quality of it. Like, we got coders, trying to figure out stuff for different operating systems. There's, like, a patch that you've got to apply to the game to access it. It's kind of trying to blend like some of the lore aspects, some of the story type of maps, with multiplayer into it. So it's gonna be really cool, man. Come in, cheer for your favorite faction, man. Obviously, I'm Common Folk, man. So join that Common Folk chat, man. We got Mishi, man. We got a lot of good players in Common Folk, but yeah, there's kind of that aspect to it too, where the first part of the tournament is going to be kind of regular, best of 3, standard tournament. And then the top 4 players are all going to choose a faction to represent for the second day, where we're going to go into a lot of custom maps, a lot of story type stuff. Gabony has been writing a fantastic story. I mean, there's all kinds of artwork being put into it, custom maps being made, a lot of work going into it, guys. So definitely check out the Tooth and Tail PvP campaign. I'm looking super forward to that. It's gonna be fantastic, man. But other than that, that's it, guys. So I will be playing in the tournament on Saturday, and until then, you're all a bunch of beautiful nerds, and Hopper till death. I'm going to give the host over to my wife, guys. So let's go say hi to her, man. She's playing some old school JRPGs right now. And I'll see everybody back on Tuesday evening. Don't forget to send me more replays ToothAndTailTV@gmail.com. And that's it, man. Take care, everybody. I will see y'all next week.